That's why you gotta love OJ, man. He has deep
Metaphysics is going to
connections.
have to be the quote
The stream
unquote
just
religion
started
of
with, that's why
tomorrow.
you gotta love
If it
OJ.
isn't, you're fucked.
That's what you have.
Totally and absolutely.
Okay. All right. So we live. We live back in effect. The Cult of Dangerous Gentlemen. And if you're like me a few days ago, you're probably looking at the title of this video and thinking, what exactly is spurgling? And furthermore, what is spurgling for profit? So I'm gonna just pop this article right up here. We're gonna get right into it. I was in this week's episode mostly was inspired by an up and coming basketball entity named Zion Williamson. And Zion Williamson, his bad DNA management. This guy's doing some crazy things with himself, getting a lot of people pregnant, allegedly. I don't really know the full story, but it's all over the internet. But Yahoo has an article right here. What is spurgling, and why do experts have concerns about the sperm stealing practice? So, the bad part about Zion Williamson is he didn't even have his sperm stolen. He gave it away. He gave it away to multiple people who, in my opinion, I don't want to be bigoted here or anything like that, but in my opinion, it seems like a bad place to deposit one's DNA. Both of them are like strippers and sex workers, and in their own right, they're doing the Lord's work. We love them. We appreciate the efforts that they put in.
Love you,
But
sacred horse.
yeah, the sacred horse. But as far as raw sex goes, and baby mamas and the starting of families and all that, they may not be the best people to hand your DNA over to, especially before they've been cleansed by the purifying waters. They haven't been debriefed from their sex work yet. They still right smack dab in the middle of it. But this article is about a woman who was frustrated because her partner didn't want to have children. So she asked her friend about it, and her friend said you could always put holes in the condom or steal the sperm when he goes to the toilet.
Great advice.
Great advice. Absolutely. Excellent advice. It says it might sound outlandish, but according to experts, sperm stealing, or spurgling, as it's been coined, although a fairly recent term before spurgling, the act was more commonly known as sperm jacking. And this is something that's going on a lot. I remember, what was it, a year or two ago, Drake made the news because he said that he had gotten used to women trying to steal his genetic leavings. So he got used to carrying hot sauce like Hillary Clinton, and he would put hot sauce in the condoms after he was done with them, and then leave them laying around. I think that was sort of a trap too, because he'd leave them laying around. And some woman tried to sue him because, of course, she found it. She didn't know it was hot sauce in it, and she allegedly tried to insert it into herself, and she tried to sue him for the injury of the
Good
hot
for her.
sauce. Right,
Good
she
for
was
her.
trying to play the long game. I'll give it to her. You know what I mean?
But she
Listen,
fell for the trap. You gotta love a good cat and mouse.
yeah, a good cat and mouse game. Listen, if you're gonna be a stranger banging Drake, not like his girlfriend or nothing like that. You just see him somewhere and you're able to seduce him and get him back to some place where he feels comfortable, inserting himself into you. You may not get nothing else out of that. Maybe it wasn't a completely fulfilling experience for her. Maybe she thought it was going to be something magical and she'd become his lady, but he was just like, all right, I'm out. And she was like, damn, well, now what do I do? Maybe if I'm lucky, I can get a baby out of it or something like that. but Drake, being the genius that he is, put hot sauce in his used condom. So he kind of he ruined her plans for spurgling. But I do think, I for one think spurgling is fair. Okay, um, just play the game smarter. If you're an athlete, an actor, you're a quote unquote high value man, and I know they take a lot of pride and putting themselves out into the world in a way where they get to take advantage of the women, and well, not really take advantage, but they're engaging in these activities and they think it's their birthright to have these activities. Well, what is a woman's birthright if not to try to set you up and get some child support payments out of it? I mean, it's all fair in love and war, right? Like, is there anything wrong, you brothers? Do you think anything is inherently wrong with spurgling?
No,
I don't think
Do
not
so.
at all. Well,
I think it's necessary.
Mm.
Not only do I think it's necessary, I think there needs to be a real push to maximize the industriousness of this industry. I think I think dudes think, well, I'm rich, I'm powerful, I get to fuck whoever I want. Like I don't really have to be loyal. Like you have to be loyal to me, but I don't really have to be loyal to you.
Right.
That's pretty much the understanding of dudes with money, right? So, that's not really a high-minded, righteous way to think about it. So I like the equality that this brings to the game, is that women should be extorting children out of these high-value men. If you're gonna cast your seed indiscriminately, carelessly, you're not going to be loyal to the person that you made a commitment to be loyal to, because you don't really have to. I think it's fair game for some of these chicks to get that empty condom, freeze it immediately, and start selling sperm by sperm your entire future away.
Yeah.
You're going to get 6 to 7 paternity suits a month. One night in one frozen condom, she's getting, maybe you start out just 25 a sperm, because you're trying to get some startup. It's some seed money. It's some seed money. So you do, but eventually, people are paying you $250,000. You're getting a pretty much a guaranteed meal ticket, and this can go on indefinitely.
Forever.
Ball players and rappers that are 60, 70 years old, they could get hit. And they could have not gotten their dick to work for almost 30 years. But somehow there's a new baby coming and they have to pay for it.
And what are you going to do?
That
What are you
future
gonna
makes
do?
me happier.
It does. It really does.
It makes everything equilibrium. It just smooths everything out.
I think it makes perfect sense for a lot of reasons. You can't, for some reason, you can't teach athletes to not take advantage of groupies in every city, all of these women that come chasing after them. And you would think, one would think, now personally, I've never been in this position, so I can't say I'm speaking from personal experience, but I would think that if you come into some money, you're rich, you're an athlete, and you become highly sought after by what is, let's be honest, questionable women. Like, and this goes for rappers and shit like that too. If these women are chasing your tour bus or something like that, they're pulling out their boobs and showing them to you through the window, these are probably not, dare I say it, quality partners for any type of meaningful relationship. I understand why you might want to just smash and dash, but like you said, that's not high-minded. This is not, we got to evolve here somewhere, right? You can't teach this to people. They think it's them. He's like, yo, I dunk so good, these groupies want to have raw sex with me. Probably not. They probably really don't know much about the game. They don't really care. They heard your name, you're trending on Twitter, so they want to take advantage. And they hopefully, and I don't even think it's about the sex. It's not like, oh, I want to bang an athlete. No, I want to get pregnant by an athlete so that I can get a chunky child support check for the next 18 years. Am I wrong? Is that like bigoted for me to think that way? Or do they just want to like be ravaged by somebody with that type of physical prowess? Like, what percentage of groupies do you think are just, like, okay, so if we switch it up,
What's the rape
dudes,
stats? What's the rape
the grape-
stats?
the grape
What's
stats.
the grape stats?
Grape, the
What's
vineyard
grape
stats.
What's
so
the
let's
vineyard
switch it up for a minute, right? What percentage of athletes, actors, rappers, when they see these women, they're thinking, wow, that's a person I'd like to be inside? Probably 100%, right? They're looking at the body, they're looking at the dimensions, that she's probably making all kind of faces like, oh, she's probably a freak. They're thinking about the actual sexual conquest. Now, if you reverse that, what percentage of these women do you think are looking forward to the sexual experience just itself, not the after effects, not how much money they can make from it, are looking forward with the sexual experience of a quickie in the broom closet or in a Motel 6 with a rapper or an athlete? What percentage of women is really looking forward to that?
What percentage is having a thought about any kind of family planning.
It's I think it's gonna be a high percentage, but also like a low percentage. I don't know, like
I don't think they
because
care. Is my
I think
point.
some do, but
Nobody's taking the responsibility of potentially creating a new life that they're going to be responsible for on planet Earth. That's not
Right.
crossing anybody's mind. That like the ramifications and the gravity of that responsibility, nobody's thinking about.
Yeah, I
If
think
it,
I think what they want more than anything else is a steady paycheck that could
of
possibly be. It's
course,
going to be a lot higher than if you get pregnant by a guy who works at,
there's
he's
no other
serving
reason.
popcorn at the Regal
there's
Theater.
yeah, come on, that's the lotto. That's the
Exactly,
lotto.
she hit the lottery.
That's the
Because
lotto.
she can get somebody to fuck her and fuck her well anytime she wants.
Right.
She could go. The women do not have a problem getting fucked. This is silliness. Of course, that's the underlying angle. Is I got a guaranteed check. And you know what? If you're gonna be irresponsible with your dick, that brings balance to the universe. I don't think that's a bad thing.
That's true.
I think that's a good thing for equilibrium between men and women. Good for them.
It's true.
Spurgle away. Get a
Spurgle
whole
on.
pension. Do it.
Yes, we need
Yeah.
a Hall of Fame of spurglers.
Whole pensions
Yeah,
are
whole
valid.
pensions.
A whole pension is valid. You don't want to be doing sex work for the rest of your life. There's got to be some kind of retirement plan, and the retirement
Right.
plan could be athlete fluids. Right? It could be athlete fluids. And if anybody's wondering, this image on the screen right now is an image that I made with Midjourney, and I used the prompts Kardashian businesswoman. That was part of the prompts that I used, and as you can see, it did a great job. It was a Kardashian businesswoman in a minimal office meeting carrying a refrigerated briefcase. And I figured this looks like a good model. It looks like she's having a business meeting with several Instagram thoughts and influencers and women who have their booking information in their bio or shit like that. And they're like, look, I got some LeBron in here. I got some Zion Williamson. I got a couple rappers in here. Like, what type of paycheck do you want for the rest of your life? You can only come see her if you're ovulating, right? Because you don't want to be wasting your money because it's going to cost you. This is an investment in your future. You're not just going to be getting athlete fluids for free. It's going to cost you. So you're going to go see her when you're ovulating. You're going to choose through a book. It's all been guaranteed. It's all been, laid out. You know who it is. There's some actors in there. Tyrese might be in there. Nick Cannon might be in there. It's a bunch of guys.
Definitely in there.
Yeah, Nick Cannon's definitely in there. There's a bunch of guys in there who don't seem to understand when a woman is running game on them. Tyrese just got finished going through a divorce, and he said he found out during his divorce proceedings that the woman was with him for the money and not because of him. And I'm just like, Tyrese, I knew that. How did you not know that, buddy? But please, I don't know. It is what it is. So whole pensions are valid. I'm not mad at a woman for trying to get a whole pension. I think Spurgling would change the face of professional athleticism forever.
Dude, they would basically be working for free. They'd get all of the fame. And I think they would improve the game. You think there would be flops when a dude is playing and it's like, look, I'm not touching any of this money. Winning the fucking championship is all that matters.
Right.
Think about how much harder they would be playing if they knew they weren't getting any of the money anyway. Look, I'm never going to enjoy any of this money. I need that ring. I need that MVP trophy this year.
You better get
And
it.
let's say you don't have $250,000. Yeah, you're ovulating and you want to spurgle, but you don't have access to an athlete. It's okay, because when that woman with the frozen briefcase, when she sits you down, right, guess what? They got a great financing plan for you. All that's going to happen is they're going to take 35% of your lifetime earnings right off the top, right? On top of once you paid back the $250,000. So every installment you get, they get 35% until the $250,000 is paid back, and they get 35% in perpetuity. In perpetuity. But look, you weren't going to get access to this grade A athlete rapper sperm without this.
Right.
Or surely you wouldn't have had the guile and the logistics to get it here frozen so that you'd have this verifiable gold mine in front of you. You didn't have the foresight either, but look, we have, and we're here to work for you. If you ovulate for us, we're going to make you a very rich woman.
Listen, it's a
Hope
pretty
pensions.
competitive market
deserve
out there. Some of y'all might not have even been able to guarantee an audience with the person you want to get the fluids from. It's super competitive. How many followers you got on Instagram?
Yeah.
Like some of
You're
y'all might
always
not have
gonna
made
get
it.
that audience.
Some of y'all might not have
Wow.
made it. But who you can
Get
have
that
an audience with
exclusivity.
is the Kardashian businesswoman with the refrigerated briefcase. She can make time for you for sure. How much does it cost to be artificially inseminated with athlete fluid? How much is it going to cost the Spurgalist rather?
What's the name of this company? Spurgastia? What are we gonna? It needs like some corporate happy or innocuous sounding. It needs something. It needs. What is the name of this enterprise?
I don't know. I gotta think about that one because it has to be prestigious. It's got to be something with genetics. You know, it can't just be like rapper fluid or nothing like that. We got to have something respectable so it can be publicly traded on the stock market. I don't know. I got to think about that one. We're gonna come up with it. I mean, if somebody is listening to this broadcast in the near
Golden
future,
Rivers in vitro.
Blathlete in vitro. Blathlete. It should just be called Nick Cannon.
Nick's Cannon, Spurgling Services.
Cannon Genetics. Cannon Genetics.
Cannon DNA installment.
Yep, whole pensions for your future.
DNA installment. I feel like it needs to be banky, like financial advisory.
Yeah.
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
Definitely.
Like it should be like a Charles Schwab kind of branded, retirement fund agency.
No, I love it. I think it's a great idea. Personally, I think this is the only way that you can teach athletes to be smarter with where they deposit themselves. Because you can't tell them nothing. Whatever you tell them in the locker room, or if you make them come in and wear a suit and sit down and have a meeting, it's going in one ear and out the other. As soon as they see some boobs pressed up against the tour bus window, it's a wrap. It's a
Everybody
wrap.
falls into it.
Yeah, that's the power of femininity. That's the
Yep.
power of feminine sexuality. You can tell a man whatever you want to tell him. He has to learn from personal experience. Because I've had conversations with guys, right? You have conversations with guys when you're on the way to the strip club, right? Everybody's talking and laughing, all these bitches and blah, 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 all that kind of shit. As soon as they get to the strip club, their pupils get wide. It's like a cat after they get their first whiff of catnip. The pupils open up and they just start getting starry-eyed, and all of their brain activity just goes right out the window. Now you believe that she's in love with you. In this moment, you believe that this stripper, she's not doing her job. She's not providing a fantasy. She's just never seen a guy like me, and I might be able to take her away from all this.
Shout out to Anna Nicole Smith, greatest of all time.
All of that. She's a top league player. But I ain't mad at him because, one of my homies said to me before, I was in a strip club. I'm famous for falling asleep in strip clubs. I've been with my homie in a strip club probably 4 or 5 times. And every time it's super late at night. We was always doing some other shit, going to a show or something. And late at night on the way back, he'll be like, yo, let's stop at the dollhouse. And I'm like, oh, God, here we go. So we roll up in there. I'll be at the bar knocked out. And he's falling in love every 5 minutes. And bro told me he said there was a chick crawling across the bar. Not a chick. It was a lady. There was a lady crawling across the bar.
Lady.
And he looked me
That's
in
the
my
chicken.
eyes and truthfully, from the bottom of his soul, said to me, she's too pretty to be doing this. She shouldn't even have to work. And me being who I am, I was like,
They don't want to be saved.
I was thinking to myself, how does her being pretty equate to not having to work? That's not even a real life metric. You
She
think
picked the perfect job because of her prettiness.
right? Exactly. That's why she's working here, buddy. Like, I think you missed the point. She shouldn't have to work. What? How does that work? Where does that happen at in nature? Oh, you're so pretty. The apple tree is just going to drop the apples in front of your door. You don't have to climb the tree to get this apple. You don't got to create your own housing. You don't got to thatch your roof so you don't get rained
You're
on.
so pretty.
You're so pretty. Yeah, you're so pretty. Nature is just going to conform around you and protect you. That's not how this works. That's
Nah, in a
if
way
you're
it
too
does.
pretty, you might get eaten first because you stand out. You know what I'm saying? Your
Definitely
camouflage
take it
is
to the
off.
video. You're definitely the first one in the video.
Yeah, you getting
No,
eaten.
if you pretty enough, somebody's gonna go offer to pick those apples for you.
Right, right. That's how
That's
that
how it
works. Right?
works.
Yeah,
That's the me.
unless you were born in Viking times. In Viking times, you pretty enough, you're going over this guy's shoulder, and you're going to become a breeding machine against your will. At least for the first few years, against your will. After you pop out 2 or 3 kids, you might be in love legitimately. That's how the
Because you
female.
feel a lot safer with this ravaged beast as a man
Yeah,
now.
because he can protect you from all the other ravaging beasts that's going to hurt you even worse.
That's right.
You know? You got to do. I'll never forget. I'll keep going back to Game of Thrones, bro. It was one of the most vile and beautiful things I've ever seen in my life. You got a guy who bought you from another guy, and these are like, horse Vikings. They're killers, bro. They don't give a shit. And he's not nice to you. He bought you. So whenever he takes you to the vineyard, it's rough, it's from behind, it's grueling, and you don't like it. So instead of just continually being taken to the vineyard roughly and without love, you just flip him over. You're like, hold on, buddy, let me do it this time. And the next thing you know, you're on top. You're not being taken to the vineyard anymore. I mean, well, you're kind of still being taken to the vineyard, but this time you're leading him. You took his hand and walked yourself to the vineyard. And now he loves you. Now you go from this bitch I bought from that guy to my
To the
queen. My queen. She reversed it on me. That's my queen. So, I mean, there's something to be said for that. But I think it's amazing. I think any women who might get wind of this podcast, don't feel bad for Spurgling athletes or rappers or any of that. If they can use your
We will not
body,
shame.
if they can use your body with no intention of having any connection to you or having any meaningful relationship to you, they're going to use your body, then they're going to rap a song about it later on, and they're going to disparage you, they're going to talk shit about you after you gave them so much pleasure, then you should be able to use their leavings to secure yourself a future and a child that is raised with big checks coming in every month. Because, I mean, listen,
We need whole pensions. We need them.
we need whole pensions. Whole pensions will change male behavior. Nothing else is going to stop these guys from emptying themselves in random women at every stop on the tour. The only thing that's going to stop them is when, the Canon Genetics is trading at like $700 on the stock market, and the third generation of popping babies on people. It's like I banged one woman 17 years ago, and I have 32 children. They just keep coming. Nothing's happening. I can't stop it. I can't stop the rain, and nor should you be able to. So I ain't mad. I say Spurgle on. Spurgle into the future.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just how we
Canon
teach them.
Retirement Solutions.
Canon Retirement Solutions,
Doesn't that just sound
a.k.a.
innocuous?
whole pensions.
Oh, pensions.
Why don't they deserve a retirement plan? A retirement plan for being exactly who they are and acting in the capacity that these men want them to act in.
They sell it like a luxury brand. You know what I mean? Like, you're not worth just one night. You're worth at least 18 years.
You
at
know?
least. Like, they feed into the ego. They advertise that, yeah, you deserve it. You deserve it. You deserve more than just one night. That one night that you gave him is worth at least 18 years of reliable installments. At least.
At
You're
least.
worth it.
He's getting so much money. He doesn't. Come on.
At
Invest
least.
in yourself.
Listen,
Invest in yourself.
this man, all the work you did, you showed up. This man hopped off his tour bus. He banged you. He still had his boots on. He had his shirt, only one arm out of his shirt, looked like a toga. His gold chain was swinging and probably hitting you in the face, humping and sweating on top of you with no remorse.
A lot of grunting.
Grunting and thinking of rap lyrics that he was going to say when he get on stage. That's what he gave you.
Of bars.
He was thinking of bars, right? You deserve it. You deserve it. You shouldn't even have to Spurgle, right? But since he has no responsibility here and everybody else is just going to blame the woman, nobody's going to say, Lil Wayne, why'd you bang that woman and never call her back? No, that's not what he's going to say. They're going to say she wore a halter top and a miniskirt. She knew what it was. And maybe she did. But he also knew what it was, and he should have put hot sauce in his condom. But he didn't. But he
He
didn't.
didn't.
And now your progeny exists inside of a refrigerated briefcase being held by a Kardashian businesswoman.
Yeah, dude. This is the most female empowering concept
Absolutely.
to ever hit the universe ever.
Spurgling is feminism.
It's the empowerment. Because even if a dude, you could get away, but think of the way that you bring balance to the force. You might get to step out on your wife a couple of times. You might be able to and get away with it. But then eventually, it just takes that one time. That one time, your next $500 million contract means nothing to you because you're not going to see much of it. If they just get one load, you got paternity suits available to your 70s. For the rest of your life, someone could go and buy your sperm on the market. One load. That changes the scales of everything.
Hey,
You
I
have
say
to.
go for it. Go for
Yeah,
it.
but-
And nothing else is going to teach them a lesson. They're never going to learn. The only way they're going to learn is to get spurgled once and have 42 children that you got to pay for over the next 26 years. That's the only way they're going to learn. I ain't mad. Especially like that. You got a wife. Your wife's not going to sell your sperm because she's got the market cornered.
Right.
It's all her. She's the only one getting
Market
sex.
is closed.
Market is closed. But you know who will sell it? A Hooters waitress that you bang behind the dumpster. She'll definitely take it to the, she'll get it. She'll sell
You
it.
got
She'll keep a little bit for
200
herself.
million last year to play with a fucking ball? You haven't cured cancer or educated a single child or built a road?
Right.
Purified a glass of water? Like, done anything that makes life better for anybody? No, you just got decadence. Okay.
All right.
No problem. Your
All right.
sperm's out here now.
Let nature take its course.
Yeah.
I ain't mad.
It's beautiful. It's just.
It really is. Speaking of
It's
justice,
called homeostasis.
it is. It actually absolutely is. It balances everything out as it should be. But speaking of justice, somebody, one of this cult of dangerous gentlemen, I'm not positive who it was, but somebody introduced an idea, and appreciate everybody listening. Thank you for being here in the comments and all that. We love y'all. Do you think there can be a righteous sex slavery? And I know that's a little, listen, I know that's a little jarring, but sometimes it takes a predator to catch a predator. Sometimes it takes a beast to bring down a beast. And when you think about, there's people out here who exist in the world. You somewhere, you in Mexico, you in Cancun or something, you hanging out, and maybe even in America. Don't even have to be out of the country. You're just out in the world. You're aloof, right? You had a few beers. You're at the ATM. You're fumbling around with the money in your pocket when you pay for your drinks. And there's a couple of women who should be somewhere spurgling, but instead, they are setting their sights on an unsuspecting, drunk, and probably sexually frustrated man. And they're going to use their feminine wiles against him in a way that is much more dangerous than pinning 46 children on him over the next 26 years. What they're going to do is they're going to make him believe they're going to have sex with him. Oh, yeah, we love you. We love you, Poppy. Yeah, I'm already, right?
They should have been out spurgling, but instead of spurgling,
right,
they chose
That
to
would-
harm an innocent, drunk, unconscious man.
victimize somebody. They're going to put something in his drink. They're going to pull a Cardi B on him, right? Cardi B talked about it openly, shamelessly. And these guys wanted to have sex with her. They wanted to pay her for the sex. I assume, she was already technically a sex worker. So if you don't want to actually be paid for actual sex, you could just be like, nah, son, I don't do that. I just shake and twerk and you pay me. That's it. That's all I do. But I'm sure you got a home girl you could point them to. Like, yeah, she gets busy, but I don't. But instead, they put something in their drink and they rob these guys. Sometimes worse. There's been guys who've been killed trying to buy sexual experiences off Backpage and Craigslist and all this other shit. They've lost their lives seeking sexual encounters, which
Dangerous business.
I think that's unfair. Because what they're looking for, in their minds anyway, what most of them are looking for is somebody to have a consensual transaction. I don't think men in general who look for that type of activity, I don't think they're like, hey, I need to find somebody who's trapped and being trafficked and somebody who's a slave and can't get away, and I want their pimp to force her to have sex. I don't think that's what they want. I think they want somebody who's going to be like, yeah, I'll blow you for $50. That's what they're looking for, to be honest. And if that's not you, just stay out of the game. But these people are what we call snakes, right? The snakes are setting people up. They're pretending that they're going to do whatever is on the list. And instead of just taking the money in exchange for the services, people get hurt, people get drugged, people get beaten. They have men waiting in the bushes to kick your ass, like all kind of shit like that. So what I'm proposing, or what one of the cult of dangerous gentlemen is proposing, I'm not sure who, what somebody's proposing is, would it be wrong to have, like, because you know what? Cops do this, right? A cop will pretend he's drunk and he's got a $100 bill hanging out of his back pocket. And if you try to knock him over and rob him, 5 other cops come out and kick your ass and take you to jail for assault and robbery, right? That's not necessarily entrapment. Because you didn't have to try to rob this guy. You didn't have to do that. I don't think that's entrapment. So,
dude, you gotta pitch it to Hollywood as Dexter for sex slaves. That's what it is. It's the Dexter of sex slavery. Dexter murdered people. You can't on its face say, well, he took someone's life. He did, but it was extrajudicial, right? He did it outside of the law, which is illegal, and he murdered a person. He killed them. They didn't pose a threat to him, but he killed them. But everybody watched and everybody applauded because he killed bad people. If Cardi B is willing to get someone drunk or drugged, to get them robbed or potentially murdered, hey, where's the statue? Huh? Where's the grave to the unknown John? Those sexless men that lost their lives.
You know who
just
needs
trying
to be as a sex slave is the lady who set up the dude who just got not guilty. I think she needs to be a part of this.
That's true. Yep.
Was it sexually predator in nature? I thought she was trying to kill somebody. Or get
Yeah,
them.
but, she deserves to be.
Her too. She could be one of the experimental.
She could be.
All right, so you don't get the death penalty, but you have to go to sex slavery. That's going to be the female version of Dante's Inferno. It's going to be like a system of crimes. Like, all right, you got to be abused by men for this long in this way. Here's a quartz butt plug to purify you. It'll get you through it. Everything will be fine.
I think you're right. I think there's definitely a market for it, especially if the crime that you committed, you use sex as part of the trap. I think, you use sex as part of the trap, then it has to be part of the punishment.
Because then how can it be that big of a deal?
Right.
If you were that frivolous with it,
why not? That's what the judge is going to say. Nah, send her down there, bro. Send her down there. She gets 11 months in the slavery program, the sex slavery program.
Dude, no one's coming to look for the OnlyFans girls that'll be victimized by this. Nobody. This is how you do it. You have a guy, he's pretending to be drunk, he's kind of falling over himself. Some women approach him, they're like, hey, daddy, you want to come with us? He's like, yeah, what's up? And then you got his people watching his back, making sure nobody gets hurt. And then once they try to spring the trap on him, the pink van pulls up. You put a sackcloth over her head. You throw them both in the back of the van, and they're in the system now for a year. They're in the system. They got to work it off. You tried to use sex as a trap, so you get punished with sex. You're a sex worker. You was probably already a sex worker. These are not women who are bartenders and they like, oh yeah, I'll do it, and they take you somewhere and drug you and have their boyfriend kick you in the kidneys and take your wallet. That's not what's happening. These are hookers who don't want to hook. So is there like some kind of James Bond figure that kind of oversees this branch of justice?
Absolutely. He looks like a James Bond villain, but he's just one of those undercover cops. He's been undercover for so long. He just looks like a grizzly gang member. He looks like he's in a motorcycle gang. He's got a leather vest. It's Sam Elliott. That's who it is. Sam Elliott. It's grizzled Sam Elliott.
I like it.
Yeah, he's like, That's the guy. He's got a leather vest. Sam Elliott from Roadhouse. When he was in Roadhouse. That's who it is. And they think, yeah, he's the overseer. He's the main guy. And he decides the sentences, how long you got to do the sex work for. Listen, this thing actually happened. This is something that people actually did. But the first time I heard the story be told was in a James Bond movie. It's funny you said James Bond. So the guy told a story about how they were on an island that was overrun with rats. And they could shoot the rats, you could trap the rats, but they breed and multiply so fast, there's nothing you can do to stop the onslaught of these rats. So what you do is you catch a bunch of them. You don't kill them. You just catch a bunch of rats, as many as you can. And you trap them in a small space, whether it's a cage or a little room or something like that, and you leave them in there. And as they get hungrier, they get angrier, right? And as they get hungry and angry, the rats start attacking each other and killing each other and cannibalizing each other. So you leave them in there until they all dead and eaten, all but for 2 or 3 rats. With those last 2 or 3 rats, you don't kill them, you release them onto the island. Because they're the meanest, angriest motherfucking rats on the island. And they have a taste for rat now. So they're going to do so much more work to rid this island of the population of rats. They're going to do more work than you ever could. Because now they're hunting their own. They can fit into places you can't fit into. They can look for signs and spit. Like, they're going to know. And they're looking for fresh rat to eat. And they're going to breed. And once they breed, the rats that they breed aren't going to be looking for cheese and breadcrumbs. They're going to be looking for other rats. You need predators. You need killers to get rid of killers. That's why, they're teaching cops killology, right? You need predators to get rid of predators. You can't send in nice guys who are going to get these women and catch them in the act and send them to jail where all they're going to do is, well, I don't want to act like female prison isn't. It's really just it's a makeup party, right? It's a Tupperware party. Women's prison is just a Tupperware party. They go there, hang out with each other.
Said she'll do years in women's prison.
Of course she will. It's laid back. It's laid back. It's nothing really happening. The only trouble you're gonna have in a women's prison.
Oh shit! Is I'm hearing this Sam Elliott speech when he gets questioned on the morality of this.
Yeah. Sam Elliott knows what's up. Matter of fact, let me Google Sam Elliott Roadhouse. Sam Elliott Roadhouse.
Every year, 46 million men worldwide are murdered in the pursuit of buying sex. Nothing ever happens to those women. Even in prison, dude. Even prison, like, that's the real fear of any man. Like, look.
Right.
I think I could get along with everybody, maybe not get murdered. But what if somebody wants to rape me? Now we're in a life or death situation where maybe somebody needs to get murdered. Women don't have to worry about that all in their prison experience. And even though this is so terrible, if it is a sex crime, then it kind of makes women prison more like man prison.
Right. Right. It is. It's a fact. I'm sorry.
It's still terrible. I still have to. I feel compelled that I have to denounce the concept. But I think the best way to pitch it is sex slave Dexter.
Yeah,
sex slavery Dexter.
Tell me this ain't the guy running that department.
That is the guy. That is the guy calling in the airstrikes to the village, clearing up the area so there's no witnesses, and bringing in the trucks full of Cardi B's.
Right. And the guys who are going to be their clients are doing the Lord's work, right? Because they're not out here taking advantage of real traffic victims. They're not this is the people who pay above board, right? They have this government sanctioned.
Absolutely.
They're clean.
And the prisoners get a cut. They're getting paid when you're in jail.
Right, when you get out
on the dollar.
Yeah, when you get out, you got a stack waiting for it. See, this is perfect.
It's like you know what it is? It's like conscripting soldiers. You know what I'm saying? You commit a crime, and we're like, all right, you got to go off to war for 2 years.
Yep, there it is.
Going to prison. It's like, all right, look, you committed a crime. You got to do the Lord's work and give service.
That's it.
But we'll give you a cut.
Listen,
it's the Marines.
It's sex Marines.
It's the Marine for women.
It's sex
it's
Marines.
The Marines. You get a tattoo. You've been through like an experience. You bond with the other women. Like, took a lot of dick today. Took a lot of dick to pay back for that crime.
Bro, this is
but I'm serving my country. I'm making my country better.
They call him the sex sarge. That's the sex sarge right here, bro. You know, because when the women come in and he gives them the debriefing about the work they're going to be doing, they're going to kind of be attracted to him anyway, so they'll take it easier. They'll take it a little easier. They're going to be like, I got to do what?
It just gets worse the more we do.
And he's wearing this shirt right here when they come in.
That's right.
He's wearing that shirt, bro. Listen, I don't see no problem with it personally. I mean, it could be wrong. If it's wrong, please let me know in the comments. Let us know why there's no righteous way to do sex slavery. I mean, it's sex conscription, like you said. I don't see a problem with it personally.
Soldiers, you were fucking up society.
Yeah.
And we gave you your freedom. You need to pay back your debt.
If a guy can steal bread and have to go to war for 2 years, you can do sex work for 2 years because you set a guy up who thought he was going to buy some sex from you.
Yeah, and look, if you committed a crime, how is braiding hair for 2 years paying back your debt to society? It costs society money to give you a safe place to stay and eat for rent-free for the time that you're in prison. It's a net expense.
Medical and everything.
So
Right.
what would society want back from you if you had to pay back a debt to society?
Nothing.
Pussy.
Yep.
Pussy. All right, look, what would you... Okay, pay back your debt to society. What are you going to do? I'm going to break rocks for 8 hours a day. That's
No.
how I'll pay back society. Tell
No.
you what. How about you fuck me for 30 minutes a day? How about that? How about instead of breaking bricks for 8 hours a day? Is that the worst thing ever? I don't know. Now when I see that, I kind of think everything we're saying is mild.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm not going to put this on screen.
This is...
But what I will
So what he's showing is a pride event with a dude, I believe, with breasts in a G-string, writhing on the floor, going up to protesters and
Religious protesters.
pantomiming. Yeah, religious protesters and pantomiming oral sex by kneeling at the genital. Back and forth. Yeah, it's sexy, right?
This-
I want to be sexy.
this
Right?
just solidifies my theory that some people in this movement, I'm not going to say the letters, but some people in this movement have a fetish for being decimated by a mob of angry citizens.
Yeah.
I think
have
that's
to.
their fetish. Suicide
to.
by society, I think, is what they want. Somewhere deep down inside, they dream of being torn apart by angry protesters.
It only
All right,
makes
hold on.
sense.
Wait. Can you
only
play it a
makes
little bit?
sense.
Can you play it a little bit more so you don't see anything? Like, none of the man titty meat. Like, get the man titty meat out of it just so
That
people
whole
can
thing
see
has
which
to be
video we're
blurred.
talking about. No. If you get it right there, yeah. You're not seeing no man titty meat. That's
Okay, well,
safe. Yeah.
maybe I'll just give them a freeze frame of it. Hold on, let me
Because
just...
people will know the video if you're on Twitter. But yeah, it's extreme.
Good Lord, buddy. Oh, and all this guy did was show up to and
He
and
showed
his-
up to protest.
silently, peacefully
Those
protest.
lovely signs that they sat down together. They made them. They had to go to the. Come
He
on.
just showed up. I don't know what his shirt says, but he came there to silently and peacefully protest. And
That's probably not silent. He's probably got a bullhorn. That's probably shouting out
doesn't.
Bible verses.
Yeah, but he's
No,
not
he
out here
doesn't.
rolling around.
No. But
look, he's uncomfortable. Look, he's like he had to back up.
I don't know about he's uncomfortable.
God.
His shirt
I don't
says
know.
"Fear God." Yeah, he might. Yeah, well, I'm not gonna.
You might have enjoyed that
I
moment.
don't, hey, I don't know. Statistically speaking, you're right though.
Race mech stats. It's there. It's possible.
Yeah. If your religious rating is high,
Oh,
then
man.
yeah.
The guy's rolling around on the ground. I'm trying not
He's
to get us
writhing.
booted here. Writhing around on the ground. Oh my
Can
goodness.
you imagine if it was Catholic
Yeah,
priests out there
we're walking too close to the line.
protesting?
They get it. Huh?
What if it was Catholic priests out there?
Oh shit, and they were into it.
Oh,
They just start grabbing his head. And they
Jokes
start
on you,
making
Jack.
out.
I'm into this shit.
Oh no, that's so gross. I hope you don't just keep doing that for hours.
Oh no, don't.
Oh, not that
Oh,
Brian
buddy.
Patch.
Yeah, this is rough. Look at this, just right there.
Yeah, it's super uncomfortable. But I mean, look, there was, and this is why we have to live in this perpetual lie that we're just in completely different. Like there was a time when the gay dude was just minding his own business.
Right.
Like, look, I go to this place, nobody's around. I hold hands with this dude. We make out, we bang in the bathroom, but we're here and we're comfortable and we're around each other and we're out from your larger society and we're not bothering you. Leave me the fuck alone. I'm gonna find you. I'm gonna find you because that shit is gross and I'm gonna find you. I'm gonna fuck you up. I'm gonna kill you. I'm disgusted by that shit. There was a time where there was probably religious people or people that might have been religiously motivated or motivated by like traditional or religious concepts about how they should feel about homosexuals, and they were probably going out, right? And there was some people that were doing that had that attitude towards gay people just minding their own business, right? But now it's completely flipped. It's completely flipped, and it's like, yo, you gotta love this shit. Well, I don't know. Could you just not do it in front of kids? Fuck no, I'm gonna do it in front of kids. I'm gonna strip in front of kids right now, and I'm gonna show my titties, and you can't stop me. And fuck you, motherfucker. Look, I don't mind if you exist. I'm not looking for you. I'm not trying to give you my opinion if it hurts your feelings. Just can you not force this on me? No, you have to like it or you're canceled. Like it's totally there. The bullies, like, yo, you gotta like this shit and love this shit. Like, but that's the shit that they're doing in front of kids. There's another one, a dude in a Speedo imitating oral sex and spraying, like, I don't know, water or something in somebody's mouth.
And there's a child.
It's like there's kids walking around. Like, if it was not gay, take all of the letters out of it, and it's just a stripper. It's fucking a Brazzers convention. It's a stripper convention.
Look at this kid.
Hey, sex toys, pussies around, titties are around. Shouldn't be no kids. And it's all heterosexual shit. Okay, it could be.
You know the worst part about all this, like my daughter
bring sex into it.
My daughter at school, her friend went, and like the friend comes back, oh, we went to a pride parade. Like they make it sound like it's a child-friendly event. I told my daughter straight out, it's an event where men dress as women. You're not going.
That is bigoted, sir.
It's just,
no, but there's, dude, I would not in good conscience ever.
No.
I could listen.
I can't.
I would not in good conscience
like,
bring any
parade.
child. Yes.
No.
My child, one of my loved ones' children, any child at all. There's no way I would just like I wouldn't bring them to a strip club.
Humans are gonna human. I'm not gonna bring them to an event.
Right, but that's what I'm saying, and it's like, so why are you making it about acceptance? Because it's not about acceptance. There's accepting. Those religious people will not bother those gay people for being gay. They don't have the energy. They're just not going out. We're the gay people. We want to bother them.
Those guys are all old and dead now. The young generation don't give a fuck.
and there's some people that still have that attitude, but for the most part, it's just silly and nobody takes that seriously, right? But the one thing that gay people, straight people, religious people, atheists, all human beings should be like, look, we keep sex stuff away from kids, right? Like we all agree we should do that.
Well,
right?
what do you mean by kids?
What do you mean by kids?
All right. So like we could disagree on all this other shit, but just everybody, right? We could sit at the table and say, okay, here's some sex stuff, here's some kids. Never shall the two meet, right? We agree that there should be segregation between sex stuff and kid stuff. Because I think if we can't start from there, there's no point in having any conversation. Like, fuck
completely agree.
Conversations, and if you're a bigot, if you're a religious nut, or all that other shit, no. If you can't have that starting point, we want to keep sex stuff away from kids. Okay, do we want to have homosexual people mistreated or harmed or not feel loved or accepted? Nah. If anybody is serious about their faith, I'm assuming those people are Christians. The theme is everybody's a piece of shit. Everybody deserves to die. The only thing you could do if you got God's grace is love other people. There's nothing for you to do but to be kind and accepting of that other person. You don't ever have to accept their behavior as something that you promote or celebrate, like you're being told you have to celebrate it. But there shouldn't be anything in you that wants you to do anything unkind to that person or to be hateful to that person. Like, that would be a betrayal of everything that you've got written down that you say is important to you and the principles that you live by, right? Like, so But that's not what this is. This isn't religious people going out and being dicks. This is like totally on the other end. Yo, here's sex stuff. Where are the kids? We want to do sex stuff in front of the kids. Okay, hold on. We can just make it be accepting to people, be kind to people, no matter who or how they fuck. As long as we agree that anything with sex and anything with kids should absolutely never have anything to do with each other, then I think just like everybody would basically agree to that, everybody would basically agree to, yeah, don't be a dick to people just because you don't agree with who they fuck. What I don't have actual polling data. I would think 95% or more of human beings with full functioning brains would come to that conclusion. No,
I think so.
I came to it.
Listen, I just want to add something. Have you ever, in your life as a man, ever had a woman chase you with her boobs out? Using
Twice.
her boobs as a weapon to chase you.
A weapon.
Has that ever happened to
It
you?
happens more than you think.
Really?
More than you think.
I've never been chased by tits. Like this person is literally like, yeah, you're gonna take these boobs.
And again, kids
yeah.
are there.
Yeah.
It's a public event. Why do you have you? If it was a straight, actual biological woman with her titties out, fuck that bitch. Somebody grab her. What are you doing? Those are nice
There's
titties,
kids
but
here.
you can't do that. Right. There's kids here. See? Sex stuff, kids. Put your sexy ass titties away. This is titties that, I don't know. I don't think the majority of people who saw these titties
These are
were really that
weaponized
thrilled
titties,
about
bro.
them.
Look at that guy
Yeah,
right there. He's barely looking at
it's-
him. He's like,
he
whatever,
doesn't-
bro. He don't give a shit about them boobs, bro. And he's at the Pride Parade. He still don't give a damn. Yeah,
Not
they're just
interested.
it's super aggressive. That's a masculine chase if I've ever seen one.
That's what
it
a
looks
man
little
would do with
flittery.
boobs.
That's
the
what a
first
man
thing a man
does.
would do with boobs.
Chase
is
you.
weaponize
Chase you
them.
with these.
How
with
can
these
I
facts.
kill another man with these?
I'm gonna chase you. I'm gonna destroy your
Chase.
heterosexuality. Chase you with these tits.
Let's go,
If you don't
bitch.
want them, you're a bigot. If you don't want these boobs, you're a bigot. Yeah, it's amazing. It's a strange
Good for
time we
her.
live in right now. Yeah, have fun.
It's a hilarious time.
Good
Have
for
fun.
them.
Have fun.
Good for them.
Good
It's a
for
great
them.
time. What a time to be alive, right? What a time to be alive. It's an amazing time to be alive right now. So before we go, we've been trying to keep this tight hour going. I think it works great. It kind of gives us time to get through these topics without pontificating too much. We save our pontificating for new content creation and scripted videos, which are going to be on our new channel, Dangerous Gentlemen Reviews. So please, the link is in the bio here. I mean, in the description here. So please follow that channel. Be patient with us as we create some new content, more digestible, and farm this algorithm for the revenue that we need to buy our lives back from the reptilian overlords. Speaking of them, I don't want to get step on any toes here. I know Doobie's the owner of blackness, but I think sometimes we just have to bow out gracefully and allow the the default image of humanity on the planet to speak to itself. We have a public service announcement for white folks, and it's some advice. It's some things that I know you may not want to hear, but you need to hear, and we're gonna have our resident caveman deliver it to you, Mr. Yakub Cavemanstein. Please break down the message, the loving and caring message that we have for the white people of the world.
White people need their Dr. Umar.
Yeah.
White people need Pan-Europeanism. And you'll never do it unless black people tell you that it's okay. Well, today, we have those black people.
That's
Black
right.
people.
That's true. That's true. You absolutely need it. And I'm only speaking here because I was given the floor by our resident caveman. Like I said, I wouldn't be butting in if I hadn't been given the floor. You need Pan-Europeanism. You need who is, I don't even know who your Farrakhan is, white people. Who speaks for you? Who is there to get you riled up and in love with your whiteness? Who is there to tell you that you are the default picture of humanity and that black people are the genetic experiment, cave beasts? Like who? Where is the counter narrative to all of this melanated dark magic that's happening in the world today. You need somebody to uplift you and tell you how important it is to be white. Look, listen, we said it a billion times. All these native tribes and brown people and black people, they were all over the world. They were everywhere. But what were they doing? They was doing layups. They was cutting a few heads off here and there. Every now and then they would drag your wife off to belong to another tribe and make some babies. Sometimes, yeah, they were doing it too. It's not that they weren't, but they, they weren't doing it at any grand capacity. They weren't doing it at the rate that gets you Netflix and Starbucks.
Nope.
It took the white man to enter the world stage and start dunking on people before we had, $200 sneakers and shit like that. Everybody else was just laying around topless doing rain dances and shit. And, hey, let's kill a few of the other tribe. How many? Just a handful. We don't need to kill them all. We just going to kill a few of them, then we'll get back to business. No, the white man was like, look, if you're going to play ball, let's dunk.
Have you heard of automation? You know how many more people we could be killing if we streamline this process?
Right. You know how long it's going to take y'all to get to a stock market and skyscrapers at this rate? We wouldn't have got Starbucks for another 700 years, at least, if it wasn't for the white dunk. The brown people was just taking their time. I could see if they weren't doing it at all. If the world was the utopia that they tell you it was, if everybody was just laying around topless sharing mangoes, but that's not what it was. There was some graping, there was some vineyard trips going on, but it wasn't getting us any closer to having yellow Hummers on the road. Air travel.
Not nation building status.
No, not nation building status. I think maybe the main guy in the tribe might have had some extra animal bones hanging on his teepee wall. There was an African king who had a little bit of shiny stuff around his neck, but he wasn't building a city. It wasn't happening. It wasn't not like that. White folks start dunking, and next thing you know, we got a gold rush in the Wild West.
But I think there's been the demand from the internet is people want to hear blacks and Jews specifically give them permission to be white and organize based on being whiteness. And I gotta be honest, it's not out of any kind of real noble idea, or that I think that really needs to be something that happens or is beneficial. I just want white people to share that unique Black American headache of having to argue about what your identity is and what acceptable behavior is.
Right.
All across Black Twitter, there's open arguments about, man, fuck white people. This is how we got to hit their infrastructure. We got to take out the electrical grid. Fuck them. It's like open air. How do we get money out of this? And we're at war. That's the open mentality of, we need to be organized and we need to be united in a purpose, because look, Black people are suffering. So we all need to be united in every tragedy, every call to justice, everybody's issue, no matter how well the case is or not, doesn't matter. We have to be united in this. And if you're not united in this bad idea with us, then you're out of the group. You're not a part of this organizing.
Right.
Dude, the endless, empty, go nowhere rhetoric that I saw Doobie go over in chat rooms on Twitter over the week, it's amazing. And I want, every time there's bad white behavior, I want white people to have a public referendum on what they're doing to fix their ills and solve their plight. Because we're hearing a lot more now that white people are on the receiving end of the plight, right?
Yeah.
They're a part of the oppression Olympics with blacks and Jews now. They're in. Cis white males.
Definitely.
Right?
Definitely.
They're definitely.
Not white women yet, but cis white males
not
definitely.
White women.
But not white women.
Women but they're a part of a lot. That's why they're, usually white suburban women are at the head of taking little Kyle and Karen. They're 4 and they're 5. They can see men being chased by men with titties. This is appropriate for them. I'm accepting. I love the blacks. I love the immigrants. And I love the gays. And I'm here with my kids. But we could get the kids there and just talk about kindness and accept. Nobody has to pull their tits out or their dick. We don't have to publicly pantomime oral sex. We don't have to do that. and we could be accepting of each other, right? No, it's got to be just like this. So yeah, I think once you open that door and you force that conversation, I think I think it'll make I think it'll make white people more sympathetic and just burdened with the same headache. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
you're responsible for everybody that looks like you. Well, maybe some of them can't be saved. No, everybody. They look like you. You have to fix it.
I
Because
think
I don't think there's anybody else that's forced to think in those terms in America except black people.
right.
Like, how are you saving everybody that looks like us? What? That's a tall order. What? Are you serious? Do we have like engineers? Like what? Statisticians, accountants? What do we?
No.
You know, infrastructures. Like, do you want to just go in dolo and do everything from scratch? Like full? Are you serious? What do we? Why? Like, we have to be something separate, and we have to have a public conversation about whether you're going to be in or out. And even if it's a bad idea, it doesn't matter. You have to support it or you're out. I just don't know of anybody else that is forced to confront their identity on those kinds of terms. And so I just, I feel like if white people are given the opportunity to organize in that same way and have those same public debates, they'll be burdened with those headaches that'll just reveal you can't save everybody, you can't fix everything. This is kind of stupid. Once you actually talk through it, what you'll figure out is it's always values. It's never because a motherfucker looks like you.
Right.
Never. In any good idea.
Never.
In any, like, how do we want to fix this problem? Like, because sometimes, too, it's like, why not? I think everybody should just start like, how much do you really care about this shit that you're talking about? Like, how much? Like, how much? Like, have you cried about it? I don't see anybody on Twitter is like, yo, I read this story about a 1-year-old getting shot in a fucking stroller, and I cried about it. Like, I felt bad for the mom and the dad and the people that know, or the people who had to witness it. Like, if you cried about it, like, would you be willing to have a lower standard of living? Like, what if you got a 5-bedroom house right now? Would you just live in one room and just have one room full of stuff? If it meant, like, the people and the situation, you say you care about that suffering, like, would you be willing to save that? Would you be willing to take a lower standard of living or be inconvenienced in some way to get what you say is meaningful to you? Because I don't think anybody wasting their time having a lot of these conversations online would really do a fucking thing about anything, but they can't wait to tell you how much they care about some shit. And there's like this obligation, if you're black, yo, you have to care about this shit. Why? You have to. What, are you not black? You have to do it.
Yeah.
You have to. And I would
don't
just
say you're not voting in front of black people. It's gonna start a
Listen.
whole war.
that doesn't need to be unique to black people in America.
should
We
not.
need to farm that out
Should not.
to white people. Let them share in the headache. Share in the headache of having to argue that publicly, incessantly,
I think
and
I
making
think white people
no solution in sight.
they need their own Dr. Umar to tell them what things remove them from their whiteness. White people don't remove whiteness from white people enough. I don't see it happen. Black folks can get, even though, just to be clear, the black people who are mostly removing other black people from blackness have no authority to do so because Doobie is the sole owner of blackness. So they're operating out of bounds anyway. They're not giving out any infractions. They're not de-blacking the right shit. They're talking about raisins and potato salad and goofy shit like that. How much you season your chicken. First of all, the only reason black folks need to season their chicken is because they need to derive more joy from the simulation. They made themselves perpetual victims, so they have to make their food taste better. And if you claim to be the original entity on the planet, you shouldn't need to season your food at all. You should be able to eat it as is, because you're the one that, it would be the aliens of the planet that need to season the food, right? And make it taste more like their home planet or some shit like
Race
that.
mix stats.
Yeah, race mix stats. White people are just taking chicken right out the package and putting it in the oven. It seems to me that they're the ones who are native. They don't need Lowry's. I think they might be a native. That's all I'm saying. It's just something to think about. Also, they're enjoying their existence so much that they don't need to put 17 different seasonings on their food to derive joy on their taste buds. They're just living. They're just having a good time here. They're having a great time while everybody else is trying to call them cave beast aliens. Something ain't right. Something ain't right. So I think white folks need to start ousting other white folks from whiteness because they got a lot of conflict. Maybe gay's not white. I don't know. I'm just saying that's just a suggestion. It's not for sure. It's not, they got to figure that out on their own. So maybe if you chase somebody with your boobs out, that's not white. And you can kick them off the whiteness team. But they need to start talking this talk. Dr. Umar's made a great career for himself, telling people who they should marry, what kind of clothes they should wear, what kind of schools they should go to. And
Who
if they
is
don't.
the white Dr. Umar?
Yeah.
Dude, Devin. Devin needs to find religion and become white Farrakhan.
Yes. He's the closest to white Farrakhan. You know what? I would trust him as the ownership. You know what?
He's a trustworthy fucking white Farrakhan.
I'm casting my vote. I'm casting my vote. White people, this is your business. You don't have to take my vote seriously at all.
That's a whole
Listen,
I'm just saying.
He's a man with a steady and prolific track record of excellent jurisprudence.
Absolutely.
Undeniably. He has put his judgment on display.
Absolutely. If you're going to elect somebody...
White Farrakhan.
He's the white Farrakhan.
If you're going to elect somebody to have the authority to remove people from whiteness, I think it should be Devin. I, from outside of your council, suggest that you elect Devin Tracy as the de facto owner of whiteness. Yeah. Nobody else owns it. It's not Joe Biden. It's not Donald Trump. Who else can it be? It's Devin Tracy. Devin Tracy. So all the white people who listen to this show, share this link. Give this idea to Devin. I don't know if he wants to lift up the mantle. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. Trust me, I know Doobie be going through it, keeping up with the D-Black status and giving out infractions and all that. It's a lot. It's a lot, but it's a prestigious place to be. So I suggest, respectfully, that Devin Tracy be the owner of whiteness, and all powers that come with that office gets given directly to him.
The white Farrakhan sounds like a DC superhero.
Yeah, white Farrakhan. White Farrakhan. I get my power directly from the Allfather. I said, yeah, give it to him. Yeah, so we're gonna have to send him this video and see if he wants to be the owner of whiteness. Because I mean, I think he would agree that there are some people who should be removed from the umbrella of whiteness, and he can decide for how long, what the infraction is, and how much they need to pay to reinstate themselves into whiteness.
Yeah,
it's a great hustle.
The brand.
It's a great hustle. Whiteness definitely needs rebranding. Probably not as much as blackness does, but it definitely needs some rebranding right now.
And you know what, too? I've thought about it, and I'm going to go ahead and surrender Jewishness to Doobie as well. I think Kyrie and Kanye proved that blackness and Jewness is one and the same. So on behalf of all European Jews, I'm surrendering Judaism to Doobie as well. So you are now the owner of blackness and synonymously Jewishness. Congratulations, sir.
Congratulations. Dude, just got a promotion.
Double belts.
That's amazing. Absolutely.
Unified the title.
Absolutely. That is amazing. So our hour is up, fellas. This time goes by so quick when you keep to a schedule. I think we can find some time this week to get together and do a little bit of writing for this new content. And I'm still open to suggestions for short ideas and things that people want to see and consume heavily so we can start farming this algorithm. But I appreciate you guys making time, and nobody forget the work that we've been consistently doing here. Well, I mean, Spurgling for Profit is another world changer. The Hawks versus the Snakes, another world changer. And Devin Tracy, as the owner of whiteness, is one of our indisputable greatest of all time suggestions that the greatest think tank ever assembled has made on this show. So we appreciate everybody for listening. Everybody who stopped by, make sure you like and subscribe and share this video if you get an opportunity to. We definitely appreciate y'all for listening, and we hope y'all will be back the next time we get together to solve all the world's problems by mining absurdity to harvest practical mysticism. And until next time, you brothers enjoy the rest of the evening, and I'm sure we'll be talking soon.
White Farrakhan, King of the North.
Let's get it going. Peace. Y'all take it easy.
Peace.
Metaphysics is going to have to be the quote-unquote religion of tomorrow. If it isn't, you're fucked. Totally and absolutely.